Hello everyone. How are you? I am great. Thanks for asking. I got a new mic and so I thought I could do a mic test. Ooh. I'm not really sure if acting like a ghost can determine whether a mic is of high quality or not. Anyway, for the mic test, I thought I could read you a couple poems, some of my favorite poems, which are more like popular media kind of poems. You'll see, there's only two. And then I thought I would show you some of the puzzles, like wooden puzzles and they're like metal puzzles, and I have some of those, and so I thought I'd go through some of those with you, and then maybe show you the new game I've been playing. So if that sounds interesting and you'd like to test out this mic with me, just continue viewing this video. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to show you are these wooden puzzles. This one's a grand piano. I've never wanted a grand piano. I've played a grand piano before, and it was amazing every time I got to play it. But I've always wanted a baby grand piano with non-ivory keys. I know it's not traditional, but I do not support the ivory trade at all, even when it comes to pianos. So this is the first one. The second one is a ship. And this is just a sailing ship, it says. Looks like a colonial ship. I don't know why, but I love all kinds of ships. I love airplanes. I love sailing ships, water ships. I love colonial ships. Love them. And airships, like spaceships. Not real ones in sci-fi. Love those. Of course I do. Right. So here's some of the, oh my god, these are all the same. They're called Metal Earth. I'm sure you guys have heard of these, but I've never done one before. So maybe I'll do one for a video. I think I'm going to do the wooden piano for a video coming up. So, it's got little flowers on it. So the first one I think I've shown you is R2. It's got Poe and Ray and Finn on it, so obviously it's a new one, but I just saw R2 and I was like, yoink. So hilarious, but the next one is a baby grand piano. Oh, it's a grand piano. So apparently I paid $10.99 for this. I can put that one with my wooden piano, I guess. I don't have a real piano, but I do have a keyboard that I really like. I've had it. I had to get a new one like 8 years ago. Something like 8 years ago. And they had newer, updated versions of my keyboard, and I said, no, I want the same one. So I got the same one, and it works great. I love it. It's full size, 88 keys, has weighted keys. It's like, doesn't have a lot of settings to it. It's mostly just like grand piano 1 and grand piano 2. So simple, the way I like it. This is the other one. Golden Hind. It seems like it would be the... Oh, that's it. That's what it's called. I don't really get that, but if anyone does, let me know. The next two are Star Trek Metal Earths. Freaking sweet. This is the 1701. So this is from the original. You can tell by like the engines. I'm excited to do that. Kind of fits in this background. Okay. This one is the 1701D, which is my favorite, which is the one from Next Generation. And this is my favorite ship, I think, maybe in any sci-fi. And the saucer disconnects from the engines. Genius. So I'm excited to do those. Before I read those poems, I'll actually show you the game. It's not a game. It's a system. I'm sure you guys have heard of it. Oculus 2. It's just made a lot of noise. So you open it. Here's what the controllers look like. I'm sure you've heard of this or seen it before. There's the charger. Here's the headpiece. When I put this on, my sister, first of all, my sister laughs hysterically at me and thinks it's really funny. I usually don't do this when anyone else is in the room, because you kind of feel like a kook. But I've been playing Myst on this, and it's just been amazing. It's like you're on the island, and I also started Star Wars game that scares me because you're like in the game. I can't separate reality from VR, virtual reality. Oh no. And then the other game I play is Beat Saber, which I'm sure a lot of you have heard of. I'm like obsessed with it. I mean, if you play enough, the first time you play it, you can go from like easy almost to hard. And that's kind of what I did. And then now I've been trying to master hard so I can move on to expert. And if you haven't heard of Beat Saber, it's like you have lightsabers in your hands and these boxes are flying at you and you have to hit them in the right direction along with music. So you're hitting them along with the beats of the music and certain notes. It's very much like Guitar Hero, but like so much more fun. I used to love Guitar Hero. My sister and I used to be pretty good. But so I play that all the time and it actually gives me a pretty good workout. I also exercise like in other ways. But I've really been enjoying this. And my fiance got it for me. And I called the game Saber Beats. Like the first time I played it. And he laughed at me. And I felt like an old woman. So it's pretty hilarious. And I spend a lot of time doing this now. I had a break from school for a couple weeks and I saw some friends and some family. We were all vaccinated, of course, because I'm at high risk because I have a lot of lung problems. So it's nice of everyone to get vaccinated for me and for themselves. Plus, my sister's having a baby, so I get tested all the time. Just want her to be comfortable. Love you, Jennifer. Know you're watching. Also, I was just looking at myself in this video. And I noticed there's like this piece of my hair right here, and I kept thinking that like my hair was parting, and that was my skin, but it's actually just silver. It's like this really silver piece of hair. Oh, and there's one right there too. It's happening. So the last thing that I'm gonna do today is read you a couple of poems. We're really going to test out this mic. The first one is one that you've probably all maybe heard, or at least heard of, or you've heard the word Jabberwocky, because it's a Lewis Carroll character. Lewis Carroll is, if you don't know, the person who wrote Alice in Wonderland and Through the Looking Glass. He's one of my favorite authors. His stuff is pretty kooks, but, you know, I kind of a kook. So this first poem is called Jabberwocky by Lewis Carroll. Lay down. That's me, girl. Okay. I can hear you. Okay, so my dog is in here, obviously. Hi, sweetie. She's been sick. So she's been really clingy. And when I close the door, she like waits outside. So I let her in. It's okay, sweetie. She's really being loud. This poem is in Alice in Wonderland, I think. It could be in Through the Looking Glass. Anyway, if you hear dog noises, it's because my dog is very close to the mic. 'Twas brillig and the slithy toves did gyre and gimble in the wabe. All mimsy were the borogoves, and the mome raths outgrabe. Beware the Jabberwock, my son, the jaws that bite, the claws that catch. Beware the jub bird, and shun the frumious bandersnatch. He took his vorpal sword in hand. Long time the manxome foe he sought. So rested he by the tum-tum tree, and stood a while in thought. And as in uffish thought he stood, the Jabberwock with eyes of flame came whiffling through the tugly wood, and burbled as it came. 1, 2, 1, 2, and through the vorpal blade went snicker-snack. He left it dead, and with its head he went galumphing back. And hast thou slain the Jabberwock? Come to my arms, my beamish boy. O frabjous day, callooh, callay, he chortled in his joy. 'Twas brillig and the slithy toves did gyre and gimble in the wabe. All mimsy were the borogoves, and the mome raths outgrabe. So it's a weird poem. But in the book, I've always found it really eerie, kind of off-putting, and again, that's something I've always loved. You're being a good girl, honey. She's asleep right now. So the last poem I'm going to read you today is called Vincent, and it's actually by Tim Burton. And if you have the special edition copy of Nightmare Before Christmas, it's actually on that disc in the extras, the specials. And he drew this whole cartoon for this poem, and it was narrated by Vincent Price, and I freaking love it. Kind of reminds me of me when I was a kid, which is creepy, but okay, here we go. Vincent Malloy is 7 years old. He's always polite and does what he's told. For a boy his age, he's considerate and nice, but he wants to be just like Vincent Price. He doesn't mind living with his sister, dog, and cats, though he'd rather share a home with spiders and bats. There he could reflect on the horrors he's invented and wander dark hallways alone and tormented. Vincent is nice when his aunt comes to see him, but imagines dipping her in wax for his wax museum. He likes to experiment on his dog Abercrombie in the hopes of creating a horrible zombie, so he and his horrible zombie dog could go searching for victims in the London fog. His thoughts, though, aren't only of ghoulish crimes. He likes to paint and read to pass some of the times. While other kids read books like Go, Jane, Go, Vincent's favorite author is Edgar Allan Poe. One night, while reading a gruesome tale, he read a passage that made him turn pale. Such horrible news he could not survive, for his beautiful wife had been buried alive. He dug out her grave to make sure she was dead, unaware that her grave was his mother's flower bed. His mother sent Vincent off to his room. He knew he'd been banished to the Tower of Doom, where he was sentenced to spend the rest of his life alone with the portrait of his beautiful wife. While alone and insane, encased in his tomb, Vincent's mother burst suddenly into the room. She said, "If you want to, you can go out and play. It's sunny outside and a beautiful day. Vincent tried to talk, but he just couldn't speak. The years of isolation had made him quite weak. So he took out some paper and scrawled with a pen, "I am possessed by this house and can never leave it again." His mother said, "You're not possessed and you're not almost dead. These games that you play are all in your head. You're not Vincent Price, you're Vincent Malloy. You're not tormented or insane, you're just a young boy. You're 7 years old and you are my son. I want you to get outside and have some real fun." Her anger now spent, she walked out through the hall, and while Vincent backed slowly against the wall, the room started to swell, to shiver and creak. His horrid insanity had reached its peak. He saw Abercrombie, his zombie slave, and heard his wife call from beyond the grave. She spoke from her coffin and made ghoulish demands, while through cracking walls reached skeleton hands. Every horror in his life had crept through his dreams, swept his mad laughter to terrified screams. To escape the madness, he reached for the door, but fell limp and lifeless down on the floor. His voice was soft and very slow, as he quoted The Raven from Edgar Allan Poe. "And my soul from out that shadow that lies floating on the floor shall be lifted nevermore." I imagine, since Tim Burton wrote that it kind of reflects some of his personality, and maybe that he was like that a little bit when he was younger, and I can appreciate that. So, hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you soon in the next one.